Alright everybody, so for today's instructional video, I'm going to be teaching you a very basic rappel. You should never do this without a partner or somebody who has experience, so keep that in mind as you're watching this. First piece of equipment that we're going to need to have access to an activity like this is going to be a harness. So I like a harness that you do not have to double back with. You can wear these comfortably, they don't need to be super tight, you definitely don't want them to be super loose. Just comfortable around your waist and around your legs. In addition to that, we're also going to need a few other pieces of equipment. So the first thing that I like to make sure that I have is going to be a personal anchor system. So the personal anchor system is this daisy chain right here. That'll be something that I can hook into a tree or a rock to keep me safe while I'm setting up the rope before I start my descent. Attached to this, I have a locking carabiner. I like to bring a couple of these or a few of them whenever I go do a rappel or a rock climb, just in case. They call it a locking carabiner because right now you can see that it opens and closes and there's no issues, nothing impeding that. When I screw this bolt in, it will lock it so that anything that's hooked in here won't come out. In addition to that, we're going to need a rappelling device. There's a lot of different devices, but I like the ATC device. So for these, they just give me a little bit more control and they're super simple to use. Most of them even come with a picture on the side that'll tell you which direction everything should be facing. So I definitely suggest an ATC device. I also like to bring a few quick draws. A lot of times on a rock climb, there'll be bolts already in the rock and you can just clip these into those bolts very, very efficiently, very quickly, and they'll stay right there for you. And as long as we place a few of them in different facing directions, they're extremely safe and they hold a lot of weight. Also, just to make sure that we're safe, we're going to want to make sure we bring a climbing helmet. So our climbing helmet should fit snug, but not too tight and not too loose. We want to make sure it's not moving around on our head too much. These only protect you from downward falling objects. So you can't just wear a regular bike helmet or skiing or snowboarding helmet because they protect from different angles. A rock climbing helmet is specifically designed so that if a rock falls while you're on your way up or on your way down and hits you in the top of the head, you don't get hurt. So definitely want to make sure that we have a helmet on. Last thing that we're going to need in order to do our rappel is a good rope. So if you're going on a hike and you get to a tree and there's a cliff there and you want to rappel down, a static rope will be just fine. Static rope is a rope that has no stretch in it. If you're doing a rock climb where you're bringing the rope up with you as protection and there's a risk of a fall on the way, you're going to want to make sure that you have a dynamic rope like this that has a little bit of stretch in it. That's going to keep you from coming to a sudden stop if you fall. And that way you won't jerk your spine or hurt your neck or anything like that. These are very safe. Again, either a static or a dynamic rope will hold a lot of weight, so they're designed to take a fall and make sure that you're safe. Once you get to the top of your climb, you're going to want to make sure that you set up your anchor and start to run your rope through to send it down so you can rappel on it. Make sure that you're always in the center here. Most ropes will have a marking letting you know where the center of the rope is. That makes sure that the rest of the rope can get down to the ground and we don't have one end longer than the other, which would be a huge issue as we rappel down. So make sure that you're looking for the center of that rope, that it's evenly distributed across your anchors. Imagine these two quick draws are your anchors and we're just running that through 2 points. If you have a big tree or something, say you don't have the quick draws, and we had a big tree, you could just run the center of the rope down right here and that would work just fine. Just make sure the tree is big enough and that it has a good root system. Alright, so now let's say I'm to the top of my climb. I'm anchored in using my personal protection device. I've run my rope through so that I'm at an anchor point and I'm going to get out my ATC device. I've already hooked that to my harness with the rigid edge facing out. I'm going to take 2 bites of the rope since we have 2 ends. And I'm going to run that right down through the ATC device into my locking carabiner. So I'll open that up, slide everything through, and then I can screw that shut and I'm going to click it to make sure that it's safe. Next, I'll take all the slack out, make sure that I'm load bearing on the rope. Once I'm done with that, I can remove my personal protection device, and all of my weight is going to be on this rope now. I'm going to put 2 hands on, I'm going to sit back a little bit and kick away from the wall, letting a little bit of the rope go at a time. You can descend as fast or as slow as you'd like, just make sure that you're being safe, and we'll be on our way to the ground.